Hello, everyone. This is Bill Rand, and this is MBA 590 Digital Marketing Week 6. Just wanted to kind of check in with you and tell you a little bit about, most importantly, the conceptual assignment that's due tomorrow at midnight, 11:55 p.m., but also talk to you a little bit about what else is going on with the class this week. Overall on your, if you go to the Moodle dashboard, right? This week we have, kind of there's 4 tasks, right? 1 optional, 3 required. So first of all, there is the week 6 of videos, right? 1 through 6, plus a bonus 7th video that's coming soon. Just let me go ahead and might as well put this up on the screen. Okay. So there is, as I mentioned, pull this over to the middle, turn off my camera. Okay. There is the week 6 videos, right? Plus the bonus video, 7th video coming soon. The bonus video will be about the Google Ad Analytics Academy, and that will be the last of our kind of academy videos, talking about the different academies that Google makes available for you in this space. And as soon as I get that up, week 7 will also be available. I hope to I'll get that up on Friday probably, and week 7 will also become available at that same time. And hopefully I'll also get up week 8 at the same time. I'm not promising on that one. I'll just definitely get up week 7, which is on user experience in the web and developing content. So the next thing that's on that list, right, is to participate in the Top Hat discussion on Amazon search ads. So this is kind of an interesting reading. For a long time, Google and Facebook have dominated the search advertising category, and so now the question is, as Amazon comes along, how is it changing up the game? So there's a couple of questions you'll find there. And then, of course, most importantly is turning in the individual conceptual assignment tomorrow by midnight. And so I have had a couple of questions on that, so I wanted to address those real quick. Let me switch back. So one of the questions I've had has to do with one of the questions on the assignment asks you, let me actually pull up the assignment so I actually have the questions right there in front of me. But one of the questions on the assignment asks you to come up with some examples of earned, paid, and owned social media content, right? And it's specifically asking in the context of the reading. So I said in the reading, actually, there are examples of owned, paid, and earned social content, right? Or owned, paid, and earned digital content. Some of them are not necessarily social examples, right? So could you give me examples from the reading of that fit in those 3 categories, right? So this is just kind of understanding what those words mean and then figuring out which of the examples exist in there, right? So that's one of them, right? That was a question I had. So the question was actually, do those examples have to come from the article, or can they come from just anywhere? The question is asking for examples from the article, and so that's what I was looking for. If you can identify an example of each of those from the article, okay? I also had a question about. Someone asked the question, so, I've said several times, don't give me your first answer, give me your best answer. And I've had a couple of people ask me if that means that they should disregard what's in the videos, or not disregard, but not necessarily just use what's in the videos and in the textbook. And that's not what I mean at all. You should definitely be using the videos and the textbook to answer these questions, right? What I said was, don't just regurgitate back what they're saying. Like, don't just, if the question is about paid, earned, and owned social media, like question 2 is, right? Don't just go to that section on the textbook and literally just write down the definitions of those words, right? That's what I meant by don't give me your first answer, right? Instead, give me your best answer, which would be maybe defining those words and then also answering the question, talking about how the examples fit into it, right? So that's an example of what I mean by best answer as opposed to first answer, right? Like, don't just if you know, there's another one that talks about SMART objective. Don't give me an entire half page that just talks about what a SMART objective is and doesn't actually answer the question, right? If you want to give me a page, you know, a little bit of description about what a SMART objective is, give me a SMART objective. Describe why that particular SMART objective is important and identify a KPI. That's perfect. That's exactly what the question's answering. But don't just write out anything you know about whatever the question was about. Instead, answer the question, right? Give the best possible answer to the question. That's what I meant by it. So you are going to be using the videos and the readings and the textbook to answer these questions in that respect. Okay. And then I had one last question. Let me pull it up real quick. This one just came in a little bit recently, so I don't have it off the top of my head. So the last question I had was, in question 1, it says, using what has been discussed about the digital fashion magazine industry, analyze how the competition is changing, how the revenue streams are changing, right? And let's see what else it say. And yeah, revenue streams and competition changes as a result of the growth of digital content, right? And the question was, is this just about fashion magazines or is this about all the fashion industry? Question 1. And the short answer is question 1 is just about fashion magazines, right? Now, obviously, how the fashion industry is changing affects what's happening in the fashion magazines, but the question is specifically for you to analyze how the fashion magazines themselves are changing. So if you could do that, that would be great. Okay. So hopefully this hasn't taken too long. Hopefully it's been interesting just to kind of think about how to apply all these things we've talked about in class to a real-life example, in this case, high fashion magazines. But, you know, I look forward to seeing your answers. My grader got on board today, I believe, so I should be able to get you all, we're going to hopefully grade these as quickly as possible and get them back to you. Speaking of which, project introductions. I've started looking at the project introductions. My goal is still to try and get them all graded and back to you by the end of this week. They may not, sorry, my nose is bothering me a little bit. They may not have, I may not have all the grades copied over into all the correct places because that's going to take me sitting down with the grader and talking a little bit about how to do that, but they should essentially be done. And that's just because I forgot to set this up as a team assignment. I always forget to change it. I copy the content from year to year and I forget to change this first assignment. So as a result, going from here out, all the rest are set up as team assignments. So when I do the grades, everyone will see it in the team. For this first one, initially only the person who turned it in will see the grade, but I will eventually have the grader work through and copy all the grades to all the other students as well, so everyone can see what the grade was, right? Yeah, I think that's about it for the assignments, right? If there are any other questions out there, feel free to chime in. Just checking out the YouTube main channel. It looks like it's pretty quiet over there. I did briefly look at the Twitter stream, and it looked okay there. Yep. And that was all the questions that came in. So let's see. Okay, yeah, I think that's everything. I've had some great things, by the way, where people have sent me in articles related to what we've talked about in class or other things that have happened. Again, feel free to keep sending those in. And sometimes I can work them into what's going on. I know I promised once that I know that there's an interest in looking at how the Facebook newsfeed is updating. That will definitely probably make an appearance in the near future. I just got this whole thing with the follower factory kind of thing came out of nowhere and caught me by surprise. So I had to quickly jump on that and get that involved in the class. But we'll try and work in the Newsstream stuff as well. Other things coming up. So coming up going forward as we look forward. So next week we're going to be dealing with UX and the web. And you don't have a lot of assignments for a little while. So that's kind of nice after we get through this conceptual assignment. The next big assignment coming up will be the situation analysis and marketing goals. And that is not due to, I believe it is till the end of, actually, let me double check this before I say anything. bad remembering all these details. So that is due on March 1st, right? So yeah, the beginning of next month, the end of this month, basically, right? So March 1. And that will be due then, and then the other thing that will happen on March 1, and I always try and do this, right, is you turn in a team assignment and then you get an individual assignment, right? So that way you have a little bit of time to work on the individual assignment before you need to think about the next team assignment. You get the team assignment done before you work on the individual assignment, right? So on March 1 is when the next kind of midterm analytic, the next assignment will become out as an individual, and that will be analytics focused. So definitely make sure you review the material we discussed last week on analytics before you look at that exam, right? Because a lot of the stuff that we talked about in that week will become relevant to that exam. Yeah, and that's about it. So I look forward to seeing your answers for the conceptual assignment. I hope to get them all put together and graded in the near future. And keep your eyes peeled for a look at a 7th video on the Google Ads Academy for Ads, I believe it's actually called, and also for the material on UX and web design. And by the way, with the kind of discussion on UX and web design that we'll be going over, I'll also be having some material available for like mini tutorials on different different web development tools and mock-up tools, right? So that you can mock up website designs and things like that as well. And in fact, this is like a major component of this class, right? In many ways, it's helping you actually figure out how to put together simple websites and get them up and running, so that you can, so that you have some knowledge of how that works, even if you don't ever wind up building the websites yourself going forward. Okay. So I think that's all the material I have for today. I look forward to seeing your assignments, and everyone have a pretty good week. And I will, next thing you'll see from me is an email on Monday talking about what's happening next week. Take care.